Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about while loop. Let us get started. If you have not watched my previous videos, please do watch them. I will provide their link in the description section below. While loops comes under looping statements. When we will be using looping or iterating statements. When we want to perform a task repeatedly, we use these iterative statements. Python supports two types of looping statements. They are while loop and for loop. For example, let us take a scenario. We want to print Python programming 5 times. What we will generally do, we copy this Python programming and write it 5 times in order to print it 5 times and execute the code. This will print the Python programming 5 times. But if we want to print it 100 times, we have to write the same line of code 100 times. This will be a tedious task. So in order to perform such type of repetitive tasks, we use the looping statements. Now let us start with the while loop. While loop in Python will execute a set of statements as long as the test expression or a condition given to it is true. What it means, it executes all the set of statements that are written under while block until the condition will be false. We have two types of loops, right? For loop and while loop. When we will use while loop? We use while loop when we don't know the number of times we have to execute the statements beforehand. In the above case, for example, we don't know how many times to print Python programming. Then we use the while loop. If we know the number of times we want to print the Python programming, we will use the for loop. Now let us see the flow of while loop. The flow of while loops will be like this. It will enter the loop and check the test expression or else the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute the body of while, and again it will go to the test expression. Again it will evaluate this test expression. If it is true, it will execute the body of while. This gets repeated until the test expression is false. If the test expression is false, it comes out of the loop and exit the loop. The syntax of while loop is as follows. We use the keyword while, a condition or else a test expression, and then a semicolon. Based on this condition, if the condition is true, it executes the statements below the while loop. If you give the indentation only, these statements will come under while loop. Otherwise, they will not be treated as the statements under while loop. So indentation is must. This is called as looping body or else while block. So first the flow comes here. It checks whether the condition is true or not. If the condition is true, it executes these statements. It executes these statements until the condition will be false. If the condition is evaluated as false, then it comes to this else block. In Python, we can use else block in combination with while. If the condition evaluates as false after executing the while block few times, then it comes to this else statement and executes the statement under this else block. If the condition is failed at the first time itself, then it will not execute these statements under the while block. Directly it comes to the else block and execute this statement. And after that, the code below the while loop will be executed. Now let us see an example of while loop. Here we manually printed Python programming 5 times. Now let us print the same Python programming 5 times using the while loop. Before explaining this, let me execute this code. The code is executing continuously without stopping. Why this is happening? As we are not incrementing the count value, this condition will never become false. So these statements under the while loop will be executed forever. Now let me stop this. Now I will increment the count value after each iteration by 1. Now let us re-execute this code. You can see that now it printed only 5 times. Now let me explain the flow of this code. First we have initialized the value of count as 1. Then the flow comes here. Now it checks the condition. 1 less than or equal to 5. The condition is true. So it enters the body of while. It prints the value of count. Here you can see it printed the value of count as 1. Then it prints the Python programming. In this line of code, it increments the value of count. Previously, the value of count is 1. Now it increments it by 1. Now the count value becomes 2. Similarly, it executes remaining iterations. In order to give a better idea on this while loop, I will be executing this while loop in the PyCharm using the debug mode so that we can see the output after execution of each line of code. Let me run this program in the debug mode. You can see here the flow will be starting from count equal to 1. When I execute this line of code, the value of count will be updated as 1. You can see it here. Then it goes to this line of code. Now it will check this condition, count less than or equal to 5. As our value of count is 1, 1 less than or equal to 5, it satisfies this condition. So it goes to this while loop. Now after executing of this statement, it will print the value of count. You can see in the console over here. See, after executing that line, it printed value of count as 1. After executing this line, it will print the Python programming. You can see it here. After executing of this line, it printed the Python programming. Notice here, after I execute this line, the count value will be changed to 2. See, after executing this line, the value of count is changed as 2. Now the loop re-executes again. Again it will check this condition, 2 less than or equal to 5, which is true. So it enters the loop and again it prints the value of count and Python programming. You can see it over here. After executing the respective lines, it printed those. After this line of code, it will update the value of count as 3. It updated the value of count as 3. Now again it will run the loop. Now 3 less than or equal to 5. The condition will be true. So this loop will be executed again and the count value will be updated as 4 after this loop. Again 4 less than or equal to 5. It is true. So it executes the body again and updates the value of count as 5. 5 less than or equal to 5. It satisfies the condition. So it again re-executes the block of code and updates the value of count as 6. Now 6 less than or equal to 5. It will return false. Carefully notice, now it will not execute this block of code. Directly the program terminates as there is no line of code written after the while block. I think now you have got a better idea of how the while loop is executing internally. Let us go to our IPython notebook. Now let us see the while else combination. I have said that the else block of while will be executed whenever the condition will be false. Here I have taken the count value as 1. After assigning the count with 1, the flow comes here. It checks 1 less than or equal to 5. As it is true, it executes inside while loop. And then it goes to this line and increment the count value by 1 and assign it to count again. Now the value of count will be changed to 2. Again it comes to this condition, 2 less than or equal to 5. As it is true, it executes this block of code and update the count value. This loop will be executed 5 times. In the 5th iteration, the count value becomes 6. Now it comes to here, 6 less than or equal to 5. This condition will be failed. So it comes to this else block and prints inside else block of while loop. If we change the condition as count double equal to 0. Now in the first iteration itself, the condition will return false. So it will not execute this inside while loop. Directly it comes to the else block and executes inside else block of while loop. Let us see that by executing this code. Now you can see here, it printed inside else block of while loop. Let me explain this. As we have assigned the count value as 1, now it comes to here and checks this condition, 1 double equal to 0, which will return false. So without executing this block of code, it directly comes to this else block and execute inside else block of while loop and terminates the program. By this we have successfully learned the while loop concept. I hope you have liked the video. If you like the video, please do subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon in order to receive notifications whenever I upload a new video. Please like the video and subscribe my channel. It will motivate me to create more videos on Python. Thank you for watching my video. Let us meet in the next video.